Hello, and welcome back to the couch. We are going to start a dialogue. So it's kind of few and far in between, but every now and then the powerlifting community gets very fixated on a topic. This most recent topic is kind of made up of a couple things. The main topic being the over-exaggerated bench arch that several powerlifters use in the bench press in order to shorten the range of motion of the movement and make it so that they can acquire a few extra kilos or pounds. And this is normally accompanied by also a very wide grip in the bench, but not always. The first video I saw on it was by Joey Flex, one of the best coaches in the game, Johnny Candido, and then the people at Hybrid Performance Method spoke about it most recently on their podcast, Hybrid Unlimited. So Johnny put out this video with Sean Noriega, kind of the poster child for the exaggerated bench arch with the very wide grip. And one of the reasons that they mentioned a couple times for the regulation of the bench press was to help the marketability of the sport and make it more popular and make the sport more enjoyable for viewers. And that's kind of half of what they touched on with the Hybrid podcast. And I've said before on this channel, there are a lot of things that need to be done in powerlifting to make it more popular. And in case anyone was wondering, this is, in my opinion and a lot of people's opinion, at the way bottom of the list. Some of you may be thinking, who is she? Who does she think she is? But I have been a fan of the sport for almost 7 years now, and I have been powerlifting myself going on 5. My numbers may not reflect it, but we're not gonna worry about that right now. In addition, as most of you probably know from my last video, with my boyfriend having competed a couple times, being a really big fan of the sport of Strongman, I think I've watched more Strongman content in the last 3 or 4 years of dating him than I would have in my entire life had we not dated. So specifically today we will be talking about what powerlifting can kind of take from or draw from Strongman in order to become more popular, more fun to watch, and become more of a legitimate sport. And I thought that this would be kind of a good topic, a good tie-in from the last video to my regular content, which is mostly powerlifting and nutrition. So thing number one thing that Strongman does is they set up their rules and their competitions to allow competitors to lift as much weight as humanly possible. Now, I'm not saying we should be cutting depth in the squat or allowing for hitching, ramping, or straps in the deadlift, but one thing with Strongman is competitors are able to fully take advantage of their leverages and also utilize the best and most advantageous techniques for them, circling back to the bench arch and whatever kind of grip you wish to take. Number 2. More centralized meets. Strongman has a few really big meets per year where all the top players come to compete, and that's it. From my understanding, the most popular events consisting of obviously the super heavyweights, and that's usually, I want to say, 10 to 15 guys. I don't think it gets as high as 15, but Robbie is not here to fact check me. You have World's Strongest Man, you have the Arnold, you have Giants Live, and I think you might have like one other competition every year that, again, all of the big players in the world go to. I will say that you do kind of have this with the USAPL. You have Nationals, the Arnold, and Worlds. But still, at the Nationals, you have so many people competing that they needed to establish prime time so that we all know when all the big players are going to be competing. And that's why prime time gets the most views of any other event at Nationals. But if we're talking about the untested side of things, you have so many big level meets every year, it's hard to keep track. Meets are just more exciting when the top level competitors are all in one place. And that's hard to do when you have Boss of Bosses, you have the Open, you have Tribute, the Showdown, you have the Hybrid Showdown. Additionally, I think on the untested side, we need to pick like 1, maybe 2 big federations and exclusively compete there. I'm saying we like I'm an untested lifter, but y'all know what I mean. And some would even argue that we just need to pick one federation, either the USPA or the WRPF. So I don't know. I think one thing the USAPL should do is they should replace primetime with just some kind of invitational and have it be at the same time, same place, every year, and we all know when to tune in, like the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is always the first Sunday of every February, and it's in the evening. I think if the USAPL did this, or even just the best 2 lifters of every weight class, I think we could eventually get that televised. Especially we were able to get a lot of strongman and powerlifting events televised this year, granted it being in the middle of a pandemic and everyone was staying at home. But I think we could accomplish that. I think if, again, it's all the big players, they record it. It's not gonna be able to be live because you're going to want to be able to cut out all of the downtime. That or place something else in the downtime, maybe if you have like really good commentators talking in between, kind of giving you a play-by-play or a look into what little strategy there is in powerlifting. Regardless, they should record it, edit it, and then put it out maybe a night after. Or again, if it's small flights, they could even stream this live. But to me, getting regular televised events, that would be the next level for powerlifting. Everyone always wants to talk about how we get powerlifting into the Olympics. I think just getting it on TV, honestly, I think that's the next step. Small one, number 3, I think judging needs to be more consistent. I think we've had way too many incidences in the past couple years where judging in meets is just very inconsistent. I have an entire video on it. But that kind of goes down to the process in becoming a referee, and then the meet directors and the federation upholding those standards. One thing is, I think the ref position needs to be taken a bit more seriously. I think they need to be treated like professionals. I think whatever refs we have at bigger meets, they should be the same refs every single time. You know what to expect, they know what to expect, they're treated like professionals, and they will give a higher caliber of judging. Same thing with any higher level meet in any federation. Number 4, pay these damn lifters some real money. That is why a lot of people get into the USPA or the WRPF, is because a lot of these meets actually pay money, and not just like $500 for coming in 3rd at the Arnold, or even $1,000 or $2,000 for coming in 1st. These lifters devote a lot of time and money and travel to compete in these meets. They deserve more incentive. I remember Sheffield being a huge deal in the IPF, but money meets like that are really common in untested federations. These sponsors make enough money, the IPF and the USAPL make enough money to where they can afford to shell out some cash. Also, can we get some dang food up in these powerlifting meets? I think I've only been to one powerlifting meet where food was like on site. Yeah, I think that's everything, you guys. Let me know if I missed anything. Like I said in the beginning, if I feel like I missed anything, I will try to insert it at some point in the video. Stick around for more powerlifting content coming up soon, and maybe a couple vlogs here and there. I do have a training update coming up very soon, and yeah, see you in the next one. What do you think about all this craziness, milkshakes? Me too.